waterboarding.
They're talking about wakeboarding. The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside.
One side, air railings.
A new dimension.
Everybody is going huge.
What do you think about waterboarding? I said, I like it a lot, and I don't think it's tough or no.
All right, so we had a quick technical issue. You want to tell us what happened there?
So we live in a 120-year-old house in the middle of a farm town, and our power is not necessarily up to snuff. I actually got an electrician that left 10 a.m. from Texas and is on his way here.
Perfect.
And the wife used the microwave while we were doing everything else.
So basically, we started the podcast. Everything was going great for probably 6 to 10 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everything went black. All the cameras shut off. The podcaster shut off. All the lights went out.
In the house, too.
In the house, too. All because of the microwave. So we're going to just start. I mean, no better way to have a first episode go down. So let's just run it from the top again real quick. We were only in a couple minutes. How did you get into wakeboarding? How did it all get started, I guess? Going to give a quicker recap.
Yeah. We'll go quick just in case the other ones say it. So, like, I started water skiing and kneeboarding, like, as, like, a summer camp deal in South Florida. And it was really sick because, like, we did it 2-3 days a week all summer long. And, I mean, I was slaloming at 6 years old. I ended up seeing some kid probably about 10 years when I was about 10. And he was out there on a wakeboard, and he went wake to wake. And I was like, whoa, like, you can do that? Like, you know, we just cut lines. Like,
yeah.
We never even thought about doing shit like that. And so, by the time I was like 14, like, it still was just water skiing. Never got on a board yet. And we were in Orlando because I had actually ridden cable a handful of times at Rixon. We used to kneeboard around there, ski, and I think this was pre-features. So we're in Orlando and we see all the features. And we
at
see
OWC, seeing all the rails and stuff.
Yeah, it's the first time you see it. I think everybody thinks back to that first time because, like, we were even just driving by the highway. And, I mean, it took us 15, 20 minutes to find the place, but it was just like, okay, this is badass. Like, I want to be involved. Still drop the ball. Things happened weird.
Didn't line up in your life at the time, or?
Dude, we moved to Charlotte, like, shortly after, and there was no cable scene there. Like, not like today. I mean, fuck. Yeah. I wish I would have stayed there right now.
You might have never left there.
Dude, that's the last place I lived before coming up.
Yeah, I feel like that feeling when you first pull up to a cable and it's just loaded with features. There's no better feeling than that. Whether it's a new cable or your first cable, it's like
Well, and I know we need to get back on track, but speaking of when you first pull up at a cable, like, even today, like, if it's your first time going out to that park, I love just sitting in and watching the locals, or, like, I'm looking for the lines. Like, you know, simple rail hits you can always think about, but it's like, what's the whole line there? You know?
What are the locals doing that they've taken, 500 laps on this setup already? What are they doing that's going to be way more fun than just your standard rail hits? Like, yeah, I think it's super tempting to just grab your board and jump in, and, you should. Why not? But, like, follow a local or just watch the locals after you take a few sets. Like, totally different outlook on the park.
Absolutely.
So,
but we were on the topic of how I got into it. So, but at 14, we saw OWC. I was like, all right, this place is sick. And, I just ended up being in North Carolina. There wasn't really, much of a cable scene at all. Like, because I had ridden boat just, differently. So it wasn't really a thing we did in North Carolina, though. And I ended up going to East Carolina, pre-East Coast Wake Park and everything, and didn't even know it was there. Like, and then I finally ended up going to school at UNC Wilmington.
Mm-hmm.
Never signed up for a club a day in my life, but was just, like, looking at them one day thinking there would be, like, a surf thing, and I saw the wakeboard club, and I was like, 100%, I'm in on this. And, 100 people show up.
Wow.
What's crazy is, still to this day, I think back to some of the core riders. One of them, which was Stephen Pierce, like, he's, killer wakeboarder to this day, won Wakefest Tennessee. He was in the club at that point, a couple of years younger than I was, because I just, kind of took my time at college. which
You had fun. You had a good
which
time.
happens. But dude, yeah, I got into it, and they did a couple trips a year to East Coast Wake Park. It was only like a 2.5 hour drive, and even when they wouldn't go, I would find myself on weekends driving up, and dude, it's just wakeboarding. Just you get that feel, you get that passion. You just
So once
go.
you had it accessible to you, easily is when you kind of fell in love with it. Is that safe to say?
Dude, absolutely. I mean, the first riding at East Coast was jet ski. So like even how you say, like it still had to be affordable, but like back then I think it was still $1 a minute because you're running gas and things like that on a U-shaped lake. Dude, it was worth every penny thinking back to it. And like, dude, that was back in the day when I was only riding up features and this and that. I will say one of my most scary hits I ever did in the world was the OG Henshaw with no safeties on the side. Have you ever even seen that from East Coast?
No,
bro.
I mean, I know the Henshaw, but I have not seen this.
The Henshaw, I was there the day it got delivered to OWC. I believe the one at East Coast had been there for at least 3+ years.
Okay.
Before it came. I think it could be a little less, it could be a little more, but dude, that OG Henshaw, dude, there were not very many safeties on that thing. Like the inside safety up to the creeper, there's no safety there. Like, so if you go to the top outside, if you come down super early, you're done for.
Jeez.
It's a knee breaker.
Yikes.
So.
All right, so let's dive into from sketchy feature to you broke your leg.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of run me through that.
Okay, so that's where
I think that's basically where we're leaving off after that.
So this was Mountain Weight Cable 2.0. Dude, it was some of the best days. Like, I legit remember I rode every day. I think it was 4 months straight. I don't know. That can't be a record by any means, but, like, it was amazing, even if it was just one set. But, dude, yeah, like, I did that for a summer and a half, 2 summers. But broke my leg, and then it was like, dude, it's time to grow up. And
so this was right after college. You got your degree in marketing, like you mentioned earlier. So you jumped into mountain wake, broke your leg. What's the next step there?
I moved to Atlanta. Started, I don't know, serving tables, stuff like. Man, what was I doing? Oh, I was changing oil at Jiffy Lube. But you know what also happened at that time? Terminus happened. I think I was maybe the 3rd pass holder there or something like that. We'll have to ask Chase or something.
Yeah, he'd know. What year is this?
Oh man, I don't even recall. Man, it's so long ago. Probably 2012, somewhere around. I don't know, but probably a little later than that.
Okay, so you're out of college. Are you looking for degrees in marketing, or you just kind of?
Dude, yeah, I look for marketing jobs
or jobs in marketing, not degrees. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I look for marketing jobs and I always have my eye out for it. But dude, I was making great money changing oil, as insane as that sounds, because like I might have started vacuuming day 1, but dude, I was managing the store in 6 months, and then I managed 3 stores at a time. Basically.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're not changing oil. I mean, you are, but
yeah. And then I ran my own team at Toyota, which was closer to the cable and better hours for riding. So
wow, okay.
Like I ended up changing from one to the other just so I could even ride more. But dude, like all my bosses knew, because like I didn't pay rent. Like I lived with my wife, or who was my girlfriend at the time, or I lived with my parents who lived in town. So like, dude, I wasn't motivated by money. Like I'll come to work, you want to work me 40, 50 hours. I don't care. But like if I don't get my riding time, we're not happy. Like
okay, so this is still a huge part of your life, wakeboarding, as you're working this other job.
Oh yeah.
Do you have in the back of your head still, hey, I'd love to work for a company, I'd love to get involved in the industry somehow, or is it like this is a good balance I have right now?
I honestly I never thought about it. Like I always thought it would be cool, like to get involved, but it was just like when you're young, I only thought about the riding. I never thought about the work. Like
yeah.
I like nowadays, like hell yeah, I should have been thinking about this 10, 15 years ago instead. But like, dude, back then, like it was just such a passion for me. Like I only cared about being on the water. I never even thought about working for a company. I only ever thought about like if my job was close enough to the park, or like how many days I could get away to go to Florida every year. Like
yeah, so in my time off, I'm riding, I'm shredding. I'm not thinking about, the behind the scenes stuff as much.
No, it honestly, dude, I'll tell you the day it crossed my mind. It crossed my mind when one of the homies works up here at Action, Aaron Leedsma. He walked in my shop one day. I'm running the Sears Auto Center in town, which I told myself I wouldn't run a freaking auto shop up here because of rust. I don't know anything about fucking rust.
It sucks.
That's all I know is like, screw that. You never want to mess with it. Like, but he came in the shop and I told him I was so fed up with working for a company that like, they weren't auto driven. They were like consumer side driven. They're like, you want to be here at 4:00 in the morning on Black Friday to change people's oil? Hell no. Like that's kind of dumb to me, And so, but I'm bitching at Aaron because he's there trying to put like 33s on his Jeep. And he's like, well, what would you want to do? I was like, dude, I'd love to be a board rep, a wakeboard rep. I think that was the first time it ever crossed my mind.
Okay. Well, before we get into that, backtrack. How did you end up in Michigan? How did you end up in the west side of Michigan here?
Dude, so I was working a job. It was a badass job. I worked for 3D Systems out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, which insanely enough is 5 minutes from Southtown's cable right now. So I would have stayed there. Well, that would have been there. Elevated would have popped up a year or a half later or whatever. But if I would have stayed and told my wife no, dude, I could have wakeboarded on my lunch hour. That's how amazing it was.
That's the best.
But so like I was making great money. My wife was a chiropractor. She's not a full chiropractor yet. And at the time, yeah, she had graduated school, but it was hard to get licensed properly in North Carolina. Their standards are super high, and as a recent grad, like we were saying earlier, you don't know shit out of college. You learn more on the job. And there was an opportunity up here, and she passed the requirements to be a doctor in Michigan. So I was like, dude, let's take some stress off that. Let's come up here. And I was like, wait. What was the first question I asked her? Do they have a cable park? Because Placid was here back in the day, and we had come over.
She's from Michigan, or
yeah, she's from Plymouth, so we would always come on vacation here in the summers. And she's like, "They're building a full size." I said, "Dude, you're lying to me. No bullshit." We were up here. I said, "Deal, let's go." We were up here before Action's first opening season, and it was tight because I would always go by the park, and the homies in the shop that were building it at the time would let me hop in and take sets with them before it was even open. Yeah, dude. Yeah, to this day, it's still insane. That's how I met all the Action homies, because I was just...
Wow, I didn't know you were there before it opened. I thought you were there the year after it opened.
No, dude, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude, we were there year one. I think I was probably standing on the dock when they were testing it the first time even.
Yeah, probably with Scott and them.
Yeah.
All right, so you're here in West Michigan. Cable's opening. You're still working at Sears, it was?
No, well, so when I was at 3D Systems, so when I came up, I took 3-4 months off, and I was just wakeboarding. I was taking my time to find a job, dude. I was just kind of being a surf bum.
This is 2016, probably?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was it was about 5.5 years ago. 6.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got the sugar mama, your wife. She's floating you. She's paying rent.
She's a doctor.
She's got you covered. You're hanging out.
I'm just wakeboarding, and I'm cooking for her at this point.
Yeah, you're doing the laundry.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I crush the laundry. Yeah. So, dude, I would do that, and then that's when I started working at Sears up here, and then it got in the way of riding sometimes because like I'm the manager, but I had to be there to open. I had to be there to close. Like some days I would, clock out and go ride, but like, dude, 6-7 days a week, it's stressful. It was cool though, because they'd send me to Chicago and I would go and I'd ride Corey, yeah. I would go ride the Corey. It was all paid, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm not going to the company dinner. I'm gonna go shred. Like, y'all cool with that? And like my boss just is like, yeah, that's my surfer dude.
They're all probably like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. Oh, dude. Well, it was funny because like, dude, I met the owner, Pat McGinnis, at the time. Like, he remembers me coming out. Like, like not many people mistake me when they see
You're very
me.
recognizable.
Yeah. I get told like, kind of dark-skinned Hawaiian guy living in Michigan.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you definitely don't look like you're from here. You got a nice tan on you. All right. So you're working at Sears. Aaron Leitzma comes in, getting some tires.
Yeah,
on his
he's
Jeep or
just,
whatever.
putting bigger wheels on his Jeep. And dude, it was just a really bad time because the business was trying to say like the auto shop should be open as much as the regular store in a mall should be open. And I'm like, people don't get their oil changed at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning on a Black Friday. Nobody cares about that. They're
the last thing
shopping.
on their mind.
Yeah, exactly. Unless their car broke down, then it's like, well, you should be taking care of the breakdowns. And be like, okay, like sure, but dude, it was just the hours were so bad. It was funny. I was working that job, and this is gonna come full circle because this is pretty crazy. I'm working that job at Sears too, and I got fed up but Aaron came in, right? So we'll get back to that, and then I'll go full circle. So I'm talking to Aaron, and he says, well, what would you do if you weren't doing this? I was like, dude, I'd be a board rep. He helped me put that in my mind, and so I heard that Ronix was looking for a rep.
Mm-hmm. In the Midwest area.
Yeah, in the Midwest, and I was like, dude, I personally am not very familiar with Ronix, but I was like, dude, that'd be sick. Like, I don't necessarily ride their stuff yet. Like I honestly had never tried it at that point.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, it'd be cool. Like if you could put my name out there. And I got reached out to by Kevin Zuzma, and he said, that one's been filled, but Slingshot's open. And I said, dude, if that's for real, that's what I want. That would be amazing.
So you were riding Slingshot.
Yeah, I was riding their
Probably.
boots. I always wanted to try their stuff. Wakeboards are expensive. So I always wanted to demo their stuff.
Yeah.
But boots, you can always try on. And I'd go to Ambush in Atlanta and try boots on. So, dude, I love Slingshot boots.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been riding those since 2012. But I've always been riding LF boards or whatever. And so, but always riding KTVs and things like that. And so, when he said Slingshot, I was like, oh my God, that's the company.
Yeah, something I've been using
me?
for a long time. I believe in it,
Yeah, dude, all of the homies in North Carolina, other than Steven, is always taken care of by LF, but all the other homies would ride Sling,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the shit. Those were the boards the homies rode, and I was like, oh my God, it's still a dream to this day to think that my paycheck signed by Slingshot, even from that college kid, to nowadays, and so, dude, my name got put out there. I think it was 450 applicants. It was
No shit.
It was a huge...
So who was the guy? Is it Jason?
Jason Hammonds.
He was the guy before you.
He ran East Coast. Yeah, so he ran East Coast, and then Brian Douglas ran West Coast. But Hammonds is awesome, dude. He ended up going to work for Centurion.
Okay. I met him a couple times. Really nice guy.
Dude,
great guy.
Killer. Yeah, he used to help flow you back in the day.
I don't know.
No? Okay.
Maybe a warranty or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh no, I got the system. I could go check that shit. But yeah, so Hammonds was gone, and then dude, yeah, the top 5 that were left out of the 450 though, I knew all personally, and I think a couple of them should have got it over me. I think it was vehicle situation that didn't work out for them because they're like, would you get a SUV or a truck to help, take stuff around to do demos? I said, if that's what it takes,
anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% would do that. And so, but I don't think that worked out for one of the 5. And so, or 2. And I think I was probably the second option or third option out of the top 5. But it was just when I got the call though, I was actually driving from Cocoa Beach north to Valdosta, just past through Jacksonville. I was going to be at VWC. I was riding, and I found out an hour before I showed up to VWC. So I walked in, I said, hey, I'm the new Slingshot rep to quit.
Got my nuts on the floor.
And it was like, hey, congrats, bro. I was like, you're the first to know. So,
Wow. So why do you think I mean, obviously Kevin put a good word in. Aaron had a
Well, you know what it was? So Sears, I was super fed up with the hours and everything. I had gone a week or two, and the company's going under. It's going on around you. Like they shut down a location like 10 miles away from me. I'm like, it's happening soon.
Yeah.
Like I know the business.
walls are closing in on you.
And so the boat show was in town, and my boss was trying to tell me like you can't go to the show. And I had heard that my boss at the time was going to be at the show. I was like, I put my Sears job on the line. I quit my job, and I told my boss at Sears. I said, this this was such an opportunity. Quit my job at Sears just to go to the boat show to meet my potential future boss.
I had no idea.
Put my job on the line to do, and I think that might have also helped me.
Well, you're serious.
Dude, I was like, hey man, this is how serious I am. Tomorrow I'm leaving to go to Florida. Wanted to personally meet you since you are in town and everything, and I think he really appreciated that.
Well, I mean that's huge.
Yeah,
I think that's huge.
I don't know if everybody would do that. But like,
if someone who's serious about the job would, that's for sure. So then you go down to Florida. This is probably 2017, 2016.
Yeah. So I've been with Slingshot just over 5 years. Like this past month.
Okay.
I just hit a 5-year mark with them, which is super cool.
Congratulations. Nice.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. It still brings a smile to my face. That's the cool part. That's just, like not everybody can say they love their job. I 100% can say that.
So that age old adage of, if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life.
Exactly.
You would testify to that. That's
dude, 1,000,000%.
That's awesome.
You can't look around. This is the coolest garage I could think of.
That's sick. So you're in Florida, driving up, stop at Valdosta.
Yeah, I had rode McCormick's. I had rode OWC for a week.
Okay, so this is the trip where you rode, I don't know, what is it, 6 cables in like 3 days or something? Is that the same trip and you ended at Action, or is this in the winter?
That might have, honestly.
Because I remember you coming to Action, you're like, hey, I just rode X amount of cables in X amount of days all the way from Florida.
It might have been, honestly. Okay. I do that so much. It's so crazy. But I actually did. I actually do that quite a bit. Like, dude, I'll go ride a cable, do a day. If it's super badass, like I try and do a couple. But dude, yeah, I did one, and then I just kept going. But yeah, that probably was it, because it's just one of those things. Like everything's just right on the way. Like I think I hit Terminus, and then I hit Cincy, and then rolled home. It's kind of hard not to.
Okay, so you jumped in, and what was your official position as you got hired in? It was the East Coast?
Yeah, so the East Coast wake and sup rep. So we do, stand-up paddleboards and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we're in everything, foils, all of that. But my main title was, I covered, like, the East, like, from the Mississippi East. So, like, I didn't have the Texas market, which, that was kind of weird to me. Like, half of North America, you'd think you would split that way, and then you split, like, down the middle of Texas. And I was like, Texas is closer to me than Hood River is.
Yeah.
But there's really not as much wakeboarding going on, unfortunately, in like some of the California markets and Nevada. Like it's just heat, desert, or
there's a lot of lakes on the east side, or east side of the United States.
Yeah. So and like water rights issues and things like that in Cali. Like it's so like I kind of get why he had Texas and things like that. But yeah, dude, like I love it. Like, I'll just be like, okay, I'm going to travel my territory. Just drive to Miami, tackle everything.
So what, you're meeting up with, retailers on the way, shops on the way, people who are carrying Sling, or like, what are you doing for Sling? I kind of know, but, if everyone listening, what is your position with Sling?
Yeah, so, like, being a sales rep, like, everyone thinks, like, you're just out and, like, you're on the water and hanging out all day and drinking beer. Like, yes, we drink a lot of beer. I didn't get this way for any reason. No, but like I would say 80% of my day job is sitting behind a computer, unfortunately. I love to get in the market, but when I'm home, that 80% I'm home at the computer, but when I'm on the road, that's what I love. Like it's hard to do the 80%, but the 20% definitely is worth it. And so the 20% is I'll travel like say I'll drive down to Cincy, we'll do a cable demo one day, and then we'll hop over to Kentucky and we'll do a boat demo at Wake Action or something like that. But it's also like what areas are underrepresented for Slingshot, so I'm always potentially looking for new dealers and things like that. So it's like I'll be in one big city and then on my way to the next, like I'll kind of like
Make some
plot
stops
and
along
look.
the way.
Like I equate it to like Quinn is only ever thinking about winch spots when he drives places. I technically have to do like, where can I sell stuff at? And like, will it piss off this retailer? Like where are people looking for our stuff and we don't have it yet? So like I'm always looking for potential new dealers, but it also needs to be regionally appropriate and things like that. But like anything I can do to be in the market just to see people, like get my name out there.
Hands-on experience, like you were kind of talking about earlier, to really see how people are feeling and what they think about the product and, the gaps that need to be filled. So I guess you're the wake side of things, right? So your wakeboards, wakeboard bindings, and stand-up paddleboard stuff. Is that pretty much it when it comes to what you're doing with Slingshot, or?
Yeah. Well, now you got wing that's coming in. So
you're involved with that as well.
Well, yeah. Well, so foil I got into, and I might be one of the better foilers out of the sales rep crew. I'm a little younger than the other guys too, but learning behind the boat, it's so much easier. And I'm like, every time I've been on behind the boat for the last 5 years, because foil launched the year I started too. So foil was a first year product on my first year. And so like every time I'm on the boat, there's always a foil on it, And so I got really good at foiling. Well, wing foiling is mostly about foil, not nearly as much about the wing.
You're talking about the thing that
the handheld wing now.
That's not that fun, is it? Is it pretty fun?
I haven't tried it. It
It looks like you can't. How do you see where you're going?
No, they got windows now.
No shit. They got windows in the thing.
Yeah. They got clear windows. But like, dude, you kind of know most of the time. But even so, like a lot of people just use it to get in the power of a wave, and then you're surfing the wave. Okay. Like you can do flips with them and things like that. Like the Spencer brothers, bro, they crush it. Like with the wing, like they're doing. I think Jeffrey just did a double like last month, which is kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah. So like that's also kind of in my spot, but like I stay away from the kite stuff, and like I'll never open up a kite dealer or anything like that. Like,
so there's somebody else on the east side of the state or North America that's doing all the kite stuff.
Oh, dude, fucking Neil Hutchinson. Dude, if you kite and you've been doing it a while, Neil. Neil's an animal. Neil's as slingshot as they come to. Like Neil's killer. Like I think he started off of a beach 20 some years ago. He's what I want to be in 15 years. Like he's slingshot as fuck. And that's
what do you mean by
actual
that?
thing.
What do you mean by slingshot as fuck?
It's one of those things like like being slingshot is like an attitude. It's a vibe. Like, I think Ronix is very similar, like to where it's like, you don't have to like adhere to the rules. Like look at Wesley Mark Jacobson. Like it's just, we're different and we don't have to adhere to what everybody else is doing. We want to do our own
true independent.
Thing. Yeah. Like, and that's like, the style of slingshot is like, dude, you want to wear bright colors or you want to wear all black? You want to wear all white? Who gives a shit? Just be you. You want to wear freaking crossbeard and overalls with a Hawaiian shirt? Like,
be authentic.
Absolutely.
Truly authentic, yeah.
Like, just be you. And but we party. Like we care about the vibe. Like we want to drink beer and have fun and
not take it seriously.
And like, well, it's like, I'm not a contest rider. I'm a free rider, like I want to go, dude, freaking trannies and whoops and all these things that feel weird and different. Like it's the riding, like it's slashing waves for surfers, Like,
Okay. So I guess kind of diving a little bit deeper into that. So you're kind of explaining how Slingshot's a little bit different and unique. What makes working for Slingshot, you think, different than say if you were a rep for a different brand?
Well, the biggest thing is I'm an in-house rep. So like I have a standard paycheck, like a lot of the other reps being independent, and I feel for them on this because like they're getting out, they're hustling, they're busting their ass, like, and it sucks because like if they don't have product, they're not focusing on that company though. Like for me, I don't get a check off of what I ship out. Like I get a check and like my goal is always just to help the company grow and like be a part of the scene and like help the rider. Like, dude, my biggest thing is I love helping like the local riders and things like that. I got a soft spot for that because like college, $1,000 setup or $700 setup is expensive.
It's a
like
lot.
I try and help take care of the homies, when I can. But it's it's just different. I lost that one.
No, you're good.
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, just what makes working, for Sling a little bit different. I mean, if you were a rep for say,
okay.
So
But the independent rep model, like, dude, that's one of the biggest things is like we're not independent. I think there's a couple other brands that aren't independent, but like, I ride or die Slingshot every morning when I wake up and go to sleep because like that's where I'm getting paid 100% of the time. Like independent reps have 5 or 6, 7 different brands, and so like,
independent, you mean
they have to jump? Yeah,
they're selling, the product.
they get a commission.
They're making a commission off of the product they sell.
They
so
sell $1 million.
Their goal is to sell max.
Yeah.
As much as you can.
Yeah,
Hungry to get as many retailers as many sales as you can.
I mean, I think some of them want to still be core and cool and things like that. Like, I honestly think about that a lot. Like, I want to still be a core brand. I want to be cool, but I also still got to watch out for, like, we want to grow.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to grow and be cool is kind of the idea. I don't want to say they sell that way, but that's how their paycheck is. So like, say there's 2 big seasons to do pre-books or something like that. Like everyone buys stuff at this time. That's where you spend the bulk of your time doing your business. They might only spend a month here, a month there, and then spend all their other months out of the year working on their brands because they're not shipping stuff in and out during those time periods.
So it's kind of what's right in front of me right now is how I'm gonna make my money. So that's what I'm gonna focus on.
Yeah.
As opposed to with how you're, not your deal, but Slingshot, how they operate is it's Slingshot focused the entire 12 months out of the year.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, even talking to my boss is super cool. I just got a new one. So like, we're learning each other and things like that. But, he says to me the other day, he's like, dude, you guys are pretty well sold through on boards and boots and things like that. You're pretty much set on cruise control. I said, no, dude, my goal is to get in the market. Like, I might have helped sell this to my dealers, but my goal is to go help my dealers sell it. So like, demos are super important to me. Like I said, like I always want to try a Slingshot board, but was too scared to like take Jeff Mathis's board from the operator at Terminus and be like, hey, let me borrow your board. I want to give it a rip.
Yeah. It's tough to try somebody's wakeboard.
Especially, I wasn't that good back in the day. I mean, shit, I was 200 pounds riding a 143, like you don't know what you don't know. But
it was back in the day too. So,
like, yeah, we're sold through, but like, I still want all my dude. I want my dealer. If my dealers all sold through tomorrow, yeah, it would suck they didn't have any Slingshot on the shelves for the year, but I don't think they'd be mad that they made their money.
I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to sell everything you have. So
Absolutely.
So the way, I guess, kind of going off of that, with how you're working with Slingshot, obviously in 2020 there was a huge pandemic. How did that affect your job?
God,
and obviously there were tons of supply chain issues, this and that. How did it like personally affect what you were doing?
Complicated, super complicated. It was weird because I feel like it went through stages, and I don't know how many stages there were, but even from then to now, it was like all the big box retailers are like, dude, cancel my order. I'm freaking out. And I was like, hey, man, no sweat. I got you. But 2-3 months into this thing, people were like, dude, everyone's doing outdoor activities. Subs are going crazy, dude. Like, can you get me more? And dude, like, China's shut down. All these countries are shut down. Like, so where a lot of boots are manufactured and things like that. there's a stop. Like there's just nothing coming out for months, there's no shipping containers and things like that. So that was very stressful, but in a good way, because it was like my first couple years at Slingshot were super simple because we had the foil. Nobody else did. I mean, we brought it to market and everybody was behind. I mean, I think LF even had a kite foil wing on it at the time. So like we were the only ones specifically making stuff for wake. So it was easy. And then COVID hit. It got weird for a couple months, but then it got super easy. And I just had a little one. I think she was maybe 1 at the time. And so it was like no travel. And I was like, so I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I watch my little one primarily as well. And so it was like, okay, so it sucks because I want to go travel and wakeboard and things like this. But it also was like kind of nice for my family. So like I feel like we got closer. We bought a house, so I was able to work on my house and things. So it was a gift, and it was honestly a nice gift, but it was a curse that I didn't get to go out and ride as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, but in terms of demand, obviously for anything outdoor related, shot through the roof. So you have all these big box retailers that canceled their orders, and 3 months later they're saying obviously we have demand for this.
Yeah, we need it, and then we also need more. And so like, dude, we just could. I don't think anybody could produce fast enough. Yeah. I mean. Dude, I remember doing a $150,000 sup order one day. Like those numbers are pretty high for something like that I do, but that was just a random order.
In terms of an order that
was
retailer's
just
placing
off the cuff, like, hey man, we got these boards in stock. He was like, oh, I'm not really interested. And then he hits me back the next day. He's like, how many you got?
I feel like that.
Well, because one of his companies couldn't pull through, and so he's like, dude, can you hook me up? And I was like,
see what I got.
We never unloaded the truck. The trucks
went straight to
went straight to him. I was like, cool. This is great. But yeah, dude, like people just couldn't get enough. Timing got weird. Like I feel like we've always prided ourselves to be one of the first to market with next year's product, and we launched it late season, and that worked well for riders that might have bought their stuff at Christmas time or something, rode for the year. Like our riders ride 4 or 5 days a week. Like Slingshot riders ride hard, I feel. And so, having that next year's setup at the end of the season was always great. Well, things got delayed a little bit like last year, and then like we're playing catch up. I think, hopefully we're finally back on track for 23 now. But yeah, dude, like it was crazy. Like still to this day, like the amount of inventory I have now compared to 4 or 5 years ago, like having gear in stock was something we prided ourselves on, and we could ship it that day.
Yeah.
A lot of times, dude, I could get stuff out in an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours. Like our warehouse team kills it.
So
awesome.
You're taking orders from a retailer or somebody, distributor or dealer, sorry, and they're giving it to you. You're shooting it to the warehouse team, and they're saying, hey, we got this. We ship it out to you now.
Dude, I got so good now, dude. I can see my live inventory on my cell phone. If someone texts me like, hey, do you have this board or like this set of screws, like some stupid random like that, I can just be like, I can look at it while I'm on the phone with somebody. But yeah, like it's that easy, like of course there's accounting that usually has to approve it. But like I got to the point doing bywake stuff. Like I was approving all their orders, as long as everyone's staying in good credit history, nobody cares. Like let's get it. Yeah. Well, like we did a great drop ship model with them.
Yeah. Cause they're fully drop ship, right?
Not fully. It was
mostly?
Like, I don't know, 70-30.
Okay.
You still got to stock a good bit because like, some stuff just is sold out right away,
Yeah.
But it was also good because, like, say there's last year or closeout stuff that you might not feel comfortable taking a lot of because you don't know what's out in the market. They would list that online, and dude, freaking, I'd be personally entering half dozen orders a day sometimes. A dozen orders a day, and it's just like, oh man. I feel like I work for Bywake actually a little bit for a while.
And you're putting them in.
Yeah. So, but.
Okay, so you were talking earlier about how you really love doing demos. So
yeah,
I know in the summer, whatever the 4 or 5 months of the technical summer is,
you're talking about a Michigan summer is what you're talking about.
2.5 months probably. But so you're flying around. What is your schedule like, demo wise?
I'm driving it. Everyone, my boss always said, "Oh, dude, why don't you fly here, fly there, do a couple spots." Nah, I would couch surf as much as I could. Stay in inexpensive hotels. Dude, I would drive. Dude, pre-baby, it wasn't uncommon for me to be on the road for a month, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, but I do it twice a year, 3 times a year. Or like I'd be on the road for a week or two with the baby. I try and still
break it up a little bit more.
I try and do like a week at a time,
Okay.
because it's a burden on other people to take care of her. Or we do have a badass nanny system, which is cool. Like we have a bunch of nannies that always take care of her, which that's cool. But we did the native tour pre-COVID, and dude, that was sick. That was an epic trip. That was like 28 days straight. Like I flew down to Louisiana. We road tripped across. We hit what's the Louisiana cable? Cajun X.
Yeah.
That was our first cable start. That's where I found out you can't give Alex Graydon fast food, and our budget
Why is that?
fucking through the roof. I got him a grilled chicken sandwich. The quality of the food out of like a Wendy's even, it just did not go good with his body. Like
He's got a weak stomach.
No, I don't, dude. He
needs
so
to drink more
clean.
milk. Is what he needs to do.
Yeah, dude, he's so healthy, dude. It's awesome. I mean, but yeah, it was just like, this is day one and we can't eat fast food.
We're in trouble here.
Budget screwed, and we
We're
knew it was
some
28
vegan organic
days.
bullshit.
Well, dude, he ate the sandwich. Like it's not like he snubbed it or anything. Like he ate it, but
It just didn't sit well, right?
Like the cable stopped, and so he goes down in the water. Like we're in the middle of filming at Cajun, and he never gets back out of the water when they start running.
Oh, no.
And so I'm like, I was riding and I kind of just see him. He looks rough. And so I cut out, I'm riding too. Like we're in the middle of a demo. He's filming and everything, but you still find time to ride. And so I'm like, you all right? He's like, nah, dude. Like, and I knew like, like I got to put some like real food. Like, dude, like he'll eat straight vegetarian meals.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome. Like, dude, he can cook too. Like he's really badass. He got me to eat like 10 different veggies in one sitting one time, and he only cooked on the grill, and like I'd never like ate these in my life, and now I'm like huge into vegetables because of him. But
There you go, Graydon.
yeah, exactly. All because he almost died from a Wendy's chicken sandwich. But it was just like,
It was
okay.
too much for that stomach.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So I guess you're doing a lot of demos. You're driving, I'm guessing, to be able to have a ton of boards with you that you can demo, right? I mean, that's kind of the idea of you driving around the country with a ton of boards. So that way you hit a cable, you throw the
Yeah.
boards out, everyone can ride them.
I feel like I can stretch, like my budget back then when I was just East Coast was pretty small. And so I could always stretch my budget by driving, because I bill out my mileage technically to go against my budget, but I wouldn't do it. I would pretty much just only bill out like my gas, because I was so stoked to do these trips too.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know
Dude.
that. So you're not billing out the wear and tear on your car. You're just billing out the gas.
The first 6 months at Slingshot, I didn't make a dime. And it didn't bother me at all. And me and my wife talked about it, and we said, like, if I never made a penny doing this job, who cares? I get to go around and wakeboard, because she does pretty well for us.
Yeah.
We don't live too crazy outside our means. But yeah, the first 6 months it was a complete wash, but it was the best 6 months ever, because I got to go wakeboard and ride and
But I also think you have to attribute, some success of Slingshot to situations like that, where you have, even from your riders to your reps, you're kind of putting it on the line there of, you're saying the most important thing here is to get people on the product.
yeah.
If I'm going to take it out of my own pocket, it's what I'm going to do, because, I believe in the bigger goal here.
Well, and I think it helped me build, because, I mean, like I said, 5 years in, chalk it up to COVID or chalk it up to maybe what I've done on the road. I'm definitely not one to like toot my horn like that by any means, but it's something I enjoy doing, and it is super helpful for, selling the product. And I mean, I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, that's what I am here to do. So yes, I am a sales guy, but dude, I'm not a hard sale or anything like that. Like, that's why I love doing demos, because it's like, dude, get out, you try it. Put it against anything else. If it works for you, if it's your style, awesome. If it's not, like, dude, I totally get it, you know. But hey, at least thank you for giving me a shot, you know. And I tell that to a lot of people. There's actually a dude that used to ride at Cincy. He was riding Jeff McKee's boat pro model at the cable. I mean, this dude was stacked, 285 solid, like, but he was on a 141. And I was running a demo. Dude's named Josh. If you see
been on a
this,
skateboard at that point, 141. Jeez.
it was tiny, especially on this dude's feet. Like, he was half in the water.
Yeah,
like,
no
riding
swing weight
around.
though, right? No swing weight on that board for sure.
Not for this guy. I mean, you know, but it was just, I'm like, dude, just please give this a shot.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. He finally did, and he was like, all right, I fucking get it.
What was the board?
I think I put him on a 47 Shred Town.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, he was riding a 140. This was like right when like 52 was the biggest, like a 52 terrain was the biggest.
Yeah,
And I was
that.
like, you know, maybe a terrain's not this dude's vibe.
A little bit too loose, but
yeah. So
yeah, that's got to be the biggest thing. If I could tell anyone who's like getting into wakeboarding at the cable, is try all the boards, like every single one. You know, if all your buddies' boards, try them, ride them for a couple hours. You know, like really find what you like.
I'm a two setter. You need to have at least 2 sets on a board before you can actually say whether you like it, don't like
Totally
it,
agree.
style, and don't be afraid to adjust your boots. You know what I mean? Like, especially like the directional, like a direction right now, like all the directional boards that are coming out right now. It's hard to get your boots set up properly, in my opinion. So those take even more time to give a good review on. But yeah, I think people should put 30 laps in, you know, like
Totally. A lot of the first few laps are just gonna be getting used to how the board feels. You know what I mean?
It's super funny. So I still get out there and I ride all my competitor stuff. I absolutely do, because I want to know if someone's like, dude, I'm riding a Kinetic right now. I'm riding Flexbox 2. I'm riding Flexbox 1. I want to know how that feels. And the reason I laughed is because I actually took a Kinetic out. I guess this is a 3-year-old model. And I was trying to cut turns just at action. And it was one of the first 2 turns. They're super mellow. Like, they're not even anywhere close to a 90. And I just dug the nose in. And I totally just sunk. But I caught my toe edge or something going around a turn. And I was just like, oh my God, I kooked going around a turn. You know, it's just stuff like that doesn't happen. But it's like, you test boards because you want to know like how far you can push that limit. And I just pushed that limit too far. And
Based on what you were used to.
And dude, that's just going across the water. That's not even putting it on a rail or anything like that. But dude, like I love trying people's boards. And I love it when people come to me that don't necessarily ride Slingshot and they know I'm Slingshot. Like one of our buddies, Merv, he was riding some Never Summer stuff. And he's like, Adam, you got to try it. I was like, dude, I want to. Get your ass off of it. You know, give me the board. I'll give you mine. You know, we'll work it out.
That was a good 1-year experiment Never Summer had there, right?
Honestly, if they would have worked on their fit and finish, like,
Dude, I think they could have had some success on the cable side of things for sure.
I think the biggest thing is having the sales crew for it, you know,
Yeah.
putting the time in, putting the energy in, like the No Respect dudes, they're out of Michigan. Like, they're super freaking cool. Like, I don't hate their product by any means. And I coached them a little bit, like, hey, kind of figure out the fit and finish, because what you're doing is great. Like, I love what you're doing. Like, you did what Tony Lagauche did 20 some years ago. And it's just like, okay, like I'm so stoked to see this brand grow and things like that. And so,
yeah, and I think, you know, you can't underestimate the importance of getting people on your product. So if you want to, you know, start a cable brand or whatever, board brand, you have to get someone on the product at every cable park, you know, out there, so that all the people around them are like, hey, let me try that. If it's a good product and everyone can stand by it,
exactly,
it'll work.
Exactly. And that's, and I think that's what I've tried to do well, is get my stuff out there and let people try it. And if other brands can do that and they can do it well, I think, you know, they can succeed too. I mean, there's a lot of pie out there in my opinion. You know, we control a very small piece of it. And, you know, one of my good friends, Billy Witcher, used to work at Bywake, now is at LF. He said, dude, we all need each other because we all don't sell to that one person. Like Slingshot's not for everybody. LF's not for everybody. Ronix isn't for everybody. Hyperlight has a perfect place, you know, like every brand. Like,
yeah, and I think that's, you know, whether or not there's like companies that are under the same umbrella, that's, you know, interesting, but not totally, you know, these companies can have their own, you know, I don't want to say vision, but they're their own entity and they have their own vibe, you know?
yeah, it's like their own culture.
Yeah, each brand has their own culture, and some people identify with certain cultures as opposed to other cultures. And like, so Slingshot recently is pretty much just cable. You know, you've got the pill and you've got a couple crossovers, but you're pretty much just cable. Can you kind of dive into, you know, maybe why it's more so cable now, and if you guys are getting back into the boat side of things, or
Honestly, it's my fault. 100% it's my fault. I wish I was a better boat rider. Hammond's, the rep before me, was a big boat rider and didn't do as much. Like, he rode cable, 100%, but I never saw him at a park, you know, and I think he had the position for 5 years. And not saying that he wasn't out there doing stuff, but I know for me, the boat dealerships, I have good amount. I have, if you look percentages of people who sell cable product and people who sell boat product, and for the amount of boat product we make compared to cable stuff, I have a very good ratio. If not, I might be a little high on the boat side.
Okay.
In my opinion, on what I sell day to day, than the cable stuff. But also the cable side's a passion of mine. So that's what I do well, and that's what I like to do. And so even when I'm not doing this for work, I do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm out there riding. Like it's hard to not be the Slingshot rep sometimes, and that's the hardest thing because like I want to show up and not get recognized and not this and that. I just want to go ride and step on the dock, go put headphones in for 2 hours, not talk to somebody. Some days, you know, you just need that release, and it's just I don't necessarily get that anymore, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it would be tough too, because I know, you know, I've talked to people like, you know, Dylan Mead growing up.
Love that kid.
He said, you know, he was a young guy at Hexagon. All the little groms, you know, when a rep would show up, they'd be like, all right, got to put on, got to do, you know, a bunch of crazy shit. Like, I got to try my hardest, like, to show off for this rep. Is that something that a rep would you even notice that if some random
dude, actually, I love that. Not in the sense that I want them. I don't want. Okay, it's a love-hate. It's a love-hate. Let's say it that way, because like, dude, I want the grums to be out there shredding, because like, dude, when I'm at a park, I want to see what the talent's like. I want to see the kids ripping.
Yeah.
Like I was at God, what's this kid's? I think this kid's name is like Will Hooker. God, where is he from? I think he's an OWC kid. Super. He was a super cool kid. When I met him, he was just riding around the park. This past year even, and dude, he was kooking it. Like, I mean, every rail hit was Zeechy, and I'm like, but I saw him do one thing, and I was like, these two don't add up. And so like, I talk a little shit to him, you know, like, come on, man. Like, what's this? Like, what are you doing over here? Like, just trying to be funny, but like to psych him up. And like, and then he started riding, and it was just like, dude, I follow him, you know, cause like, I want to see his lines. I want to see what he's doing. I want to see how he's getting that extra tension on a rail. Like, I'm not a rep that just sells this shit. Like, I've ridden every board in this rack, you know, not these because they're in plastic, but every single board that we have in our lineup, I've ridden.
You ridden the pill?
100%. So hard. So
Behind
hard. For me. I've ridden it on cable too. But I mean, dude, I've ridden everything. And so like, but like I'm out there, I'm trying to shred too. And so like, but like Will's out there, and it's like apparently he was like national champion for his age division the year before, and I'm like, okay, he just hadn't been on his board in a couple weeks or something, and so
A little bit dusty.
yeah, but it was just funny because it's like I want kids like that when I'm trying to hype them up, like, but like I get why they're out there, but like Dylan Mead, he's a different one. He's not
He's a
like
different
that.
breed.
Well, he's not that vibe. Like he doesn't want to show off. He's not
No.
like a, hey, I'm gonna have bright green or red freaking rims or something on my
Yeah.
car. Like he's a very quiet
Under
guy.
the radar.
Dude, I love Dylan. I love his style. Like it's so funny because like you say this, like he doesn't like to show off at all or anything like that. Like he's not showy like that. But one of the best sets I've ever seen in my life, it was me, Wes,
I was there
Quinn,
at West Rock.
sitting on the bench. Oh, dude, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this set right now. We were sitting there, and it was, dude, we've been out there all day, ran a demo, everyone's shredding, like, dude, we put laps in, like, because the whoops were there, right?
Yep.
And we're out there, and it was so incredible. Like, everyone's just beat, but Dylan had been operating all day, hadn't taken a set.
It was like just before sunset.
He took a solo set. And riding West Rock, everybody knows if you're hitting more than 2 lines a lap, you're gonna get gassed so fast.
Yeah.
Dylan was taking all of this energy from us and our hype, and he was hitting 3, 4, or
He was
even
hitting every
5
lap, yeah.
lines per lap. Like he was hitting every section, and I'm like, for like 40 minutes, like, and it was just progressively getting better and weirder. Like I love
Lines you
weird
wouldn't
tricks.
think of.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, dude, he had Wes and Quinn like, okay, son, like let's talk about
Yeah,
this.
I feel like it was like you were sitting there on the dock watching him ride, and then Wes and Quinn, walked up, sat down. A couple minutes later, I walked up, sat down. A couple minutes later, Dan, and then all of a sudden you have this like everyone at the cable is just on the shore, the dock, just watching Dylan just take a soul set.
You know what I also remember about that? Because we're probably all drinking beers. It's after closing. We're not riding anymore, right? No one once got up to fucking get a beer. Not a single time.
Yeah, it was eyes were locked on the
No
cable.
one took their eyes off of it. I mean, it was just, dude, it was everything, even down to watching the spray. Like, I mean, but dude, everything
Well, he does
was
all
just,
those weird Euro carves and all sorts of backward revert carves and stuff, and it's just like
he's so good.
every lap he hits you with something new. All right, so
So good.
So you're a rep. You go to parks. You watch all the Groms ride. There's probably a decent amount of kids on flow for sling, right? I mean, there's a good
I'll
amount.
give you a number.
You want a range, or you can hit me?
I'll
with
give you a
69?
range. I only take care of personally 15 to 20 riders
Okay.
a year. Put that into perspective for how many parks there
Is
are in
that
the US.
including people who are on the pro team or on the
Nope,
website?
nope.
Okay, so
Pro
this
team is
this
pro
flow.
team. Like,
this is
dude,
flow.
if you compete on the pro side of things, I don't help you.
That's
that-
Jeff.
that's
a Jeff problem.
No, well, it's a rule for me. It's a rule for me because like I want to take care of the guys that are on their way.
Yeah.
And if you're there, you should be,
I'm not the guy you talk to anymore.
I'm not going to help you progress your career. I can help you with
I was a stepping
wakeboards.
stone.
Yeah, I'm here to help the homies, the pros. Like you're going to make it in this industry. I want you doing that with my pro team manager because the pro team manager is going to be the one helping you take your next
So who's
steps.
the TM? Is Jeff McKee the TM?
Jeff McKee.
Okay.
Dude, yeah, Jeff McKee's the OG of flexboards, man. Like
Yeah.
he was brought in, and he was a rider back with Ollie and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember him telling me this. At one point, he was helping the team manager make decisions so much to the point where it was just like, why don't I just do it? And he was offered the job. And
Okay.
God, I'm not a pro ho. I'm in it because of the love.
Yeah.
And honestly, like McKee was a little before my time. Sorry, McKee. We're technically the same age and things like that. But like, I just never followed the pros back in the day. Like, honestly, like I followed Quinn, and I loved what Quinn and Wes wasn't part of it at the time. Wes was doing his own thing in North Carolina.
Trophy Lakes, right?
No, pre-trophy, I believe he was at what's the one?
He was at Gyptopia, right?
Jib.
Was
That's
that
what it was.
pre-trophy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. I
don't know.
Wait, Wes will
We'd have to
correct
get a
me.
date check on that.
but Quinn was doing his 2.0 thing in Valdosta, and like I knew who Quinn was because like I'd stop and hit the 2.0 on the way. Fuck, he was living in the front building on the main highway exit.
Yeah.
Like there's a little like
Because it was where that lake was originally. Is where
yes,
the 2 towers were.
I think
right?
he was living in there, and I left Atlanta super early. I was like on his doorstep the minute they opened one day and woke him and the wife up or something. I was like, "Hey man, can I ride?" Like, and I'm terrible. Like I'm, backboarding everything. I'm like half-ass. I'm falling off every feature. But it's
but I mean, it doesn't matter,
But I just remember back in the day waking Quinn up on that old school 2.0 and everything. Like they're doing the craziest wall rides and barrel rides, employee parking only shit. Like the stuff that like even to this day is like I may or may not hit it because I'm a dad now. But
about to be father too.
Yeah, could be any minute. Like
be
if we
happening
get
right
interrupted,
now.
guys, like
Could
don't
be
worry, I don't
happening
have to
right
leave. Like, but no, yeah. So it's just I looked up to Quinn, and dude, no, but it was so bad. Like I was riding Watson's boots and Shane's board, and I was standing on the dock at OWC. And both of them walked by, and Watson had full Watson setup. Shane had a full Shane setup. And I think Shane said, "Dude, nice setup." And I was like, "Thanks, man." And I still had fins on at this point. Like I was too scared to take my fins off. Like Shane's old board even had channels in it, so I didn't even need them. But they rode, and I looked at the operator, and I was like, "Who? Those guys look kind of familiar." He's like, "Dude, you don't even know the guys' boards you're riding?" And I was like, "Okay, I feel dumb."
That's more common, I think, than you'd think.
That must have
in
been
wakeboarding.
2010 though, because that was pre-slingshot boots, like for me.
Okay.
Because like, 2010, 2011.
All right,
like,
so
first set of slingshot boots is 2012, and I've never stepped away from KTVs. Like I love the mobs.
you're still on KTVs.
Still ride KTVs. Love them. Like it's just like I don't even think twice. I just always get them. I grab mobs for like McCormick's, like walking around. Like
Some
there's
gnarly
sometimes
walks.
well, dude, like if there's like a little glass or tons of rocks, like it's a lot of walking. Like if it's parks, like, but even Valdosta, like I don't mind walking around Valdosta without booties.
No, I mean, Valdosta's a nice shoreline to walk. I'd say it.
So, but like, yeah, like so, like I never, but like as I got with Slingshot, like I'm sitting there with McKee on the dock at OWC is where I actually did like a small interview with him. And all these pros were walking up. Like Dylan Miller might have been sitting with us. I don't remember. It was so
What year
long
is this?
ago. This was 5.5 years ago. That
Okay.
I'm technically doing an interview. This was right before I got the call saying you're the Slingshot rep. This is like a couple days before.
Okay.
Like so, like I met with the brand manager as well. So like me and McKee meet. We're at OWC. I'd never ridden a slingshot board, so I was scared because it's so fast. Like, dude, I'm out there. I was kooking it. Like, I think I rode a 141 Windsor. Like, it was tiny, but it was like, but I'd hit the rails and it. I had my boots, my KTVs on it. McKee's like, "Oh, you got to put it further in." So I put it in. And I made it like 2 laps, and I came in, and I was like, "Oh fuck, he's gonna think like I'm an idiot, and like I can't ride." So I changed my stance, and then I go back out, and I get used to the speed, because I mean, dude, like this is even pre-wax, but like, dude, the slingshot boards are fast,
They're
like,
zippy.
LF boards are like they're super grippy for I don't know, for presses. I mean, or this.
I mean, you could say it's good for you have resistance on your board. You can do a press easier.
Yeah, but I feel like I got.
Nose press.
Like, but the one thing I love about Slingshot is like I get more full pulls because of the speed, so. But like, yeah, it took me a few laps to get used to it. But like, and McKee was riding this was like the 52 terrain was out, and so he was riding that, and he's like, "Dude, that's your board," and I was like, Oh, I was too scared to go that big. I actually rode Ollie's 144 for the first year to transition between a stiff LF board that I rode.
What were you riding for?
I've always ridden Watson hybrids.
Okay.
Dude, Watson, love him to death.
Did he ever ride cable? I mean,
Yeah,
like a little bit, right?
Yeah,
But
like I used to. He hit on my wife many years ago at a demo in Cincy. I had helped.
He's a good looking guy.
Hell yeah.
He's a good looking guy.
Well, my wife, like this is her college time. I got her I guess it was like a 139 Watson hybrid. It was the black one with all the neon colors, and that was her board for riding boat, even because it was a crossover, right? And so I was like, you should go get it signed, babe, because we were at a demo in Cincy. Funny story, I flipped a truck that day, and we couldn't make it home, so we stopped at Cincy.
Okay, just casually throw that.
Yeah, just casually throw that out there.
Jeez.
And so we couldn't make it all the way back to Atlanta. I was like, babe, let's stop at Cincinnati and ride, and then we'll stop halfway and we'll make it back. And we didn't know there was a demo going on, but it was still like, dude, I'll wait 5 hours and take 4 sets because that's how much I love to ride.
Yeah.
But Watson was there, and so that was the first time I ever met him. But then I would always go to the Atlanta boat show, and Watson would always go. So I would always, there was a dealer that would always stock my board because she knows I would come by and even get him to sign it. And his autograph would wear off and everything like that. But it was this is the OG LF boards back in the day. But it was just that, I finally learned, and, yeah, it was weird. It's so weird.
Big Watson guy, huh? A little man crush on the Watson.
I love the way the board rode. It was a little flatter on. I think it was. It had the pipe acceptor, I think, in the tip and tail, but it changed a little here and there.
Yeah.
I like Shane's board too. My biggest problem was honestly, the boards are too small. They were just too small back in the day.
Well, nobody knew that they needed to be bigger.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk
Slingshot. Jeff McKee, 152 terrain.
It's small by today's standards.
Oh my gosh, it's funny because I ride Cross's board right now. This
is just a 52, right? 152.
Right now, it'll be bigger soon. Which I'd love to get my hands on a proto of a 56.
I was about to say I think a 56 because this is basically train, right?
Yeah,
it has some
it's
dust
about,
sprinkled on it, but
it's about to get changed a little.
Okay.
I'll let Cross.
I mean, it's a great board.
Dude. Hell, I've been beating the shit out of this one all year. I mean,
great graphic too.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good. Yeah, but so I'm just riding short boards and things like that, and so now big boards, it's
all right.
It's one of the, I feel like it's something you got to talk about though.
It is. I mean, bigger is probably better, right?
Dude, for me, it's night and day. Do you ever remember back to 6 years ago, 7 years ago when you were riding? You ever get fatigued or tired? Your feet hurt? Dude, I remember is the LF IPX chassis boot, and I think they might still have that chassis in production.
Okay.
Or there might be the IP4. You'd know better than me, but those boots, my feet would die after an hour. They just hurt. That's what helped me first switch to sling. And then so the shorter boards, then it's okay, my feet are okay, but my body's just beat.
Well, your upper body gets destroyed if you got a board that's too small for you and you're riding a lot.
Shit, I'm 35 years old now.
You don't have to pull the number out. I mean,
hey, screw it.
Father of two, about to be father of two.
Yeah. I'm but dude, I'll go out. I'll take an hour-long set nowadays because I'm on a proper size board.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that 10 years ago. The board is too small. You're just fighting the water the whole time.
That's the crazy thing is, I think a lot of old heads are more or less talking shit on the size of boards nowadays. And it's ride them for a while. Be it, I'm, 6'1", 180, 185.
Yeah.
A 140 something is not big enough for someone of my size,
No.
And maybe a 158 is too big, but it's all the only thing that matters is that you're riding a board that you're having a good time on. And I have a much better time on a 158 or even 152 than anything in the 140 range.
Well, and I'll tell you, like, I ride crosses 52, but I do it strategically because some parks with smaller rails need a moderate size board. A 52 is a moderate size for me. Like, it's almost on the small side, but like if our like, and not to talk bad about Action at all. Like, I mean, dude, their park is incredible. You know, yeah, dude, I love them. I mean, bought a season pass every year. And dude, I get out there and ride as much as I can. Like, they're incredible. But the rails on the side of like main cables are a little on the small, you know.
It's a small cable. It's got to have small rails.
So like some of the creepers and some of the pipe hits, like having a 60 or a 65 is a little tougher. But a 52, I can fit into like gaps, like, and we've been doing a lot of hacking, so it's like having a little bit
quick
I can turn from, like, I love rail to rail transfers and things like that. So like the 52 is perfect for actions like hallways and stuff like they set up. But like, dude, 58 at Terminus or something like elevated, dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't even think twice. Like, honestly, Dan from West Rock's been freaking telling me, like, the Salmon's my board. The Salmon's, like, a 55 is 100% my size. I just really love the flex that you get from, like, a terrain nowadays. Like, going from stiff boards.
Yeah. The terrain feels like it's designed that way, I'm sure, to have a consistent throughout the board flex as opposed to flex tip boards or boards that are designed to be a little bit more stiff throughout. But kind of getting back into what you see when you go to a cable. I know it's been a minute since we talked about this, but
so we have to stay on topic?
No, we don't have to. But so you're flowing, 15 or 20 kids.
Yeah.
If a kid wants to get, a float-a-board from Slingshot or any other brand for that matter, what do you look for, or what would stand out to you that they would do to kind of get to take that next step of, you're a really good rider?
What do you
look for?
Style. Style's the first that gets me to notice a Grom. The second's attitude. I don't care if you got the best style, the best rider in the world. Trent Stuckey, love you to death, buddy. Badass style. But if he had a bad attitude, he wouldn't be where he is today. But that's the thing. That's like, Trent, you kill it. You have an amazing attitude. You have an amazing family. You are killing it. We haven't seen your edit yet, by the way, which we'll get back to that.
This is
pre-edit.
Pre-edit. So,
but like, if you were a Trent Stuckey, it would be really hard if you had a poor attitude.
Yeah.
And that's my thing is, like, I don't want anyone representing my brand with a bad attitude. See you. Talk to you later. Like, dude, you wanna be a jerk, you wanna be a dickhead, like, go do that.
Yeah, this isn't football
else.
or basketball where if you're the most talented, you move on to the next step all the way to the NFL or the NBA. This is totally different. Your whole career as a rider revolves around you selling the product that you're on.
Yeah.
And that's hugely to do with who you are as a person and the attitude you have.
Well, dude, and it's like, just speaking at the rider level, it's like, all these kids are like, the most important thing for me to get sponsored is to be the best rider and learn all the best tricks. It's important, but it's also important how you carry yourself through the learning process. Like, if you're launching off a kicker, trying to huck doubles as a 12-year-old, like, dude, good for you. Like, I'm super hyped for you and things like that. But like, if you fall and you get mad and you throw your equipment on the ground and like, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I'll drop an F-bomb or be pissed if I pop a handle on something I'm working super
just
heavy.
Stick your head
on.
under the water. You can swear all you want if your head's underneath the water. I do it all the time. No one knows.
I'm gonna try that.
Dylan Mead taught me that. Of course.
Does he yell
underwater?
Shut
yeah.
up. That's why you never heard him.
Exactly.
No, so I mean, like, attitude's super important though. Style super important. Like there's style, there's tech, there's a mix. Like I'm always just looking for that one thing that's different. And
Yeah, what sets you apart from however many riders are at your cable park? What makes you different than
Yeah,
them?
like, are you creating your own lines even? Like lines are huge too, especially for me. Like, cause like I was saying, like single rail hits, cool. Like even, and this is to anybody running a cable park. Anybody, I don't care if you're the owner, the manager, one of the core riders. If you're not trying to help your cable focus on badass lines, you're blowing it. Anybody can stick one rail hit on a stretch and be like, cool, come hit this rail. If it's a hack, okay, like I get it, right? But like, I don't think of what I'm doing on this first feature and not think about the next one down that same line before I hit a set of turns. Like, I'm not a big air trick guy, so I don't think about that ever in turns. But like,
Have you ever done an air trick?
no. On a
That's
2.
gonna have
no,
to
no,
happen.
no. I did it on a 2-0 once. Whew.
Really?
At Mount, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
dude,
Oh, boy.
I'll do huge Rayleighs off kickers just
All right,
to be funny.
didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah. So I mean, the importance of lines, I think, is huge when it comes to designing how your layout is.
I want to see. I want to see what these riders do with lines. Like, dude, if you like, even maybe it's a little sketchy to go in something. I want to see your bailout point. I want to see your actual riding level. Like, dude, I'll be 100% honest. I am terrible with names of grabs. I am terrible.
Well, you
with-
probably know Tindy, Tailfish, like the go-tos,
yes.
right?
Yes, I know this is the proper place not to grab a board. Like, I know the proper place to grab. I know the wrong place to grab. I can't call tricks to save my life. They get complicated after you do your third or fourth evolution of something on the same stretch of features,
Yeah.
right? And that's okay. But I know what the hell they did, and I can usually tell if they did it regular or switch. And that, like, I can.
A lot of values placed on that.
Yeah, like, I mean, I watch all the pros. Like, I know what they're doing, and I know how these kids are riding. Like, I can tell if someone's a serious rider or if it's just like, cool, like you're a weekend shredder. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. There's always levels of riders. Like, I was always a weekend shredder for a long time, and not anymore. Like, ride a lot more than that. So
I gotta piss so bad. Yeah, so we were basically leaving off of where you were, what you look for in a Grom rider.
yeah,
Not even Grom, someone who's kind of looking to get flow from you. I feel like you kind of covered it for the most part.
yeah.
A lot of attitude, a lot of style, good attitude. That is.
Yeah.
Not a lot of bad attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Attitude, style, like how you carry yourself on. Dude, how you carry yourself on a dock tells me everything about a person, like I can watch you ride and see how that works and things like that, but there's definitely, like, when you're on a dock, you can tell a lot about a person. And like, even some riders are just like so quiet and standoffish and like
Pretty
don't
stiff.
say words. Ethan Weaver.
Love you, Ethan.
Yeah, he's such a quiet little kid.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you thank the operator? Are you talking to people on the dock? You don't have to be overly outgoing, but I think a generally friendly and nice attitude is exactly what people are looking for. Not even when you're there, just all the time, just being a nice guy at the cable the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody has their bad days, but like, dude, I remember watching this kid named Benny ride East Coast Wake Park, and he has such a shitty attitude, and I was just like, God, you're such a good rider, but you're such a dick. This other kid, Vinny from Mountain Wake, I won't say his last name, but
Benny and Vinny are just real assholes out here.
no, he was dude, he was. But what was funny is he was such a dick when he was riding, because it was a 2.0, so he was always like mad at the operator, like if they kind of dropped him in a turn or something. And then at the end, he'd always come and be like, "Hey man, thanks for the pulls, bro." And I was just like, "You're such a two-faced dick," But like,
Yeah.
but like, I've been watching it for years, like on how people actually connect, with other riders and things like that. But it says a lot. Like, how do you help build your community, or do you just put everybody down? Like,
Yeah, are you just talking shit all the time? If you're talking shit all the time, you're probably not going to go far.
Yeah.
All right, so you ride a lot. I feel like you pride yourself in how much you get out on the water.
Love it.
What value do you think that brings to obviously the company you're working for, but you as a person when it comes to how much water time you actually get as a rep versus maybe some other reps who don't get quite as much water time?
Oh, you're setting me up, you asshole.
I mean,
no.
Genuine question. I mean, it's important. I think.
Hold on. Let me drink a little. No, that is a very good question. What's funny, and I'll get in. I want to get in on the rep side of things, and then I want to get in on the water side of things. Some reps that have been in this industry for 25 plus years, they haven't stepped on a board in 10. I mean, you know what? Hey, you got knee problems, you got back problems. I get it. Find what you're happy with nowadays. And you get burnt out on riding after a little while. You got to have something else. Like I disc golf as well. And I really love that. And that gives me my other sport. But some of the older reps just never do it. And so, but what's great is some of those guys are kind of finding their way out or to other big boy jobs. And the younger guys are coming in and we are riding. There are some, and like I was saying, the independent rep model, they may not have time to spend on a brand. And so like there's one rep that I think lives here locally, and I might have saw him twice in a year, once because he did a demo, and then once because one of the other sport reps, like a snowboard rep, was like, hey, come out. Nowadays I see him a hell of a lot more, which is super cool. But it's just this is what you're selling and you don't love this, get out of the way. Give it to somebody else that will give a shit. And that was one thing I am super passionate about. Dude, if you don't care about wakeboarding half as much as I do, you shouldn't be doing this. I eat, sleep, breathe, live wakeboarding. Like you said, you pride yourself on being on the water. I hit 14 parks in 1 month. And that was half driving, half flying. That was when I took over all of North America for Slingshot. My boss called me and said, hey, man, I know you're on the road and stuff, but any chance you could get out to the West Coast market, hit Colorado, Texas, Cali? And I was like, sure. So I had already hit all these East Coast parks, and then I hit all the Texas, and then Colorado, Amondi.
Yeah, okay. So when did that happen? Were you expanded basically your territory? Now you're completely all of North America, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude.
When did that happen?
It was early. I think it was only a year and a half.
So 2017, 2018.
2 years into my job. No, so I started, so we're in 22 now, public math, 2017, I think.
Was
18,
when
19, 20, 21, 20. Yeah, so
you
2017 was when I started with Slingshot.
Okay.
And so 19. So it's probably March of 19 that they're like, hey, the West Coast rep, he's out. He went to work for Yamaha, which we've done a good partnership with, actually, for wake surfing and stuff.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
cool.
cool.
Coaster or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Coaster.
Yeah, it's awesome. But he had already really done all of his pre-books for the year. We just needed to deliver the spring stuff. So it was pretty easy. I didn't have to 100% manage all the accounts. But what was also funny is Tommy's hell, they've got a dozen locations now. They're local to Grand Rapids where we live, right? So that was a very easy transition. They had 5 or 6 locations back then. So me being here, that helped that relationship. But yeah, so 2 years in, I had just got comfortable doing my job and I knew all the people and I knew how to do it. And then I was like, shit, I was refreshed, start over. You have to learn a whole nother set of accounts.
Yeah.
I at least knew how to do the job. So, and it's not like I was doing 200% because I hate to say this, but if you're a sales rep and there's this pile of inventory, it's not necessarily half and half. You don't just split it down the middle. Okay, here's your shit. You guys go sell this. You go sell that. No, it all stays in the warehouse. And if this guy can sell this before you can, he's going to sell it. So I would work on a deal with somebody and then before I finish it, inventory's gone.
Yeah.
So I always knew my inventory and I still know my inventory for North America to this day. And I know which product's going to which region at this point. So it's not 200% of the work. It's probably like 140%. And it was probably like 180 at that point, but now it's only like 104. It's like 1.4 times my job that I used to just do. So, but yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Like, shit, I just knew how to do my job.
Got it figured out.
Now I got to do it all over again.
Yeah. So does that include Canada? Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I do Canada, I do Mexico, and I do a little bit of South America.
Okay.
Brazil. I do Brazil.
Okay. So yeah, I totally forgot Mexico was in North America there for a second.
But it's one of those things
My
where we're underrepresented for right now. Like if an importer came in and started doing big boy business, that would go to my import team. You know,
well,
what is the international?
What does
sales
the
rep.
Mexican market look like? Is it predominantly sup? Is it?
No, it's there's some cable riding. There's a little boat riding. Yeah. It's equivalent to like a state in middle America that doesn't have a cable.
Kentucky.
Yeah, but they still travel
Indiana.
the cables. I put it more like a freaking Utah or something weird like that. Because like it's a lot more boat oriented stuff. Like,
gotcha.
And then, but they're wealthy, so they travel to cables.
So they
still
board
sell
and
a little.
board.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, 100%. Like if you live in Salt Lake City, Utah, you don't
They're
have one
they're
for
getting
both.
A cable now, aren't they? A 2-tower? Is that actually happening?
I hope so.
I think it's.
I really
I've
hope
heard it's been
so.
talked
You
about
heard it
for
here
10
first.
years ago.
You heard it here. No, actually,
Breaking
one of our riders is working on helping.
John Dryling?
Yes. He's working on.
He's going to get it stacked up with 6 John Dryling signature features.
If he's smart, he would. I think he makes. I think he'd make
sick.
money on the sales side for the features, and then also on the pro side for the check. That's why there's so many John Dryling features out there.
He's a good salesman. So
smart guy.
I mean, I think Utah's long overdue for a cable park.
Dude, a lot of state. I mean, what like Detroit? Why don't they have a damn cable park? Like, dude, get the youth off the street, get them at the cable. Like give them something else to do. I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, totally agree. So I guess you're pretty involved in the industry. Obviously, you have to be being a rep for a company. What would you like to see either change, maybe improve? Some things you've noticed throughout your past 5-ish years, kind of being on the behind the scenes side of things, as well as being, on the ground floor of things that you could see that could really, benefit the industry as a whole or board companies as a whole.
Ooh, man, I feel like it's a few things. Like, I wish some of the riders that aren't contributing to the sport, that are still taking a paycheck, I wish they would maybe step back a little bit. That's just because like, don't take something out without putting something in. Like look at Murray. Murray, he's putting in. And he's not competing anymore, but he's still putting back in. I love that. I absolutely love that. But if you're at Murray's age and you're not competing and you might have a model, but you're not pushing it, like, or like you're not pushing it in the sport, or you're not involved, like, I think maybe give the next guy a shot. That's one of the things, like, and I think like even on the rep side of things, like, dude, you've been selling wakeboards for 25 years. Do you care about wakeboarding? Nope.
Do you still ride? No.
Later. I think give it to someone that's hungry. You want to grow a sport? Get people that care about it in there. That's my biggest thing. It's get as many people that are motivated and let's go. Like,
I agree with that. Totally agree. I mean, it's basically the same thing as you were saying with reps that have been in for a long time that aren't super into the sport anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe time to move on to something else. Same with riders. If you've been coasting for a while.
Reps, riders, and people developing product. If you're not looking for that next new product, like what do people want next? You know, those are the three people that's the threefold deal.
Yeah, you kind of you're lagging. You know, if the people in those positions aren't truly hungry for making things better.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of circle back to demos. I think we didn't fully touch on that quite yet. What does a demo look like for you? So most of the time you're out of your truck or car or whatever. What does a demo look like for you when you're going to a cable or you're going to a lake?
Dude, I roll up. I try and have a vehicle that can roll up right there. I want everything about the experience, from my stepping my foot out of the truck is to be right there next to motor tower. Like, I want to be in the thick of things. Like, I always try and park my vehicle right there because I never want to leave. Like, I don't want to be in the parking lot messing with something else. I want to be at the dock. I ideally get, to a cable, or like, say the demo's from 12 to 4 or 4 to 8, or, a good 4-hour demo gives people a good opportunity to get out. Like, if I can run it all day, or like sometimes we'll like want to stay at a spot for a couple days. Like, if it's a badass cable, like a Valdosta, an elevated, like you want to stay and you want to ride, or Westrock, of course, so like, dude, we'll roll up, empty the truck bed, and it's like, usually I bring a Grom with me or a pro, like, because dude, I'm always working, so like I'll show up and it's like, can I spend the time unloading, or let's go talk to the owner, like let's make sure everybody's happy, and like, dude, I'm buying food, I'm buying beers, like Swedish fish, dude. My boss said always bring Swedish fish to a demo.
Just don't give him to Graydon. He couldn't. There's no way he can handle Swedish fish. If he can't handle a chicken burger.
He's like, who doesn't like Swedish fish? Alex Graydon. Yeah. So, but like, dude, it's just, I want to lay out everything. I put everything in size order. Like, I'm always thinking about what inventory I have. Like, everything's in the perfect spot. So like, if someone's like, I want something this size, I'm always thinking like, okay, cool, this is here. Oh, do I have a boot for you? Because like, I pay for all this stuff, so like having 30 pairs of boots is really tough, so like, I may or may not have somebody's right boot, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna mount your boots on my board, get used to my board, and then when these boots come up, I'll flag you in, put my boots on the board, and you go try both, and that sometimes helps too. But yeah, dude, it's we try. We're a little more grungy, I guess. A little more
less polished.
Yeah, I do my best to try and get us to promote and do everything like that. Get the parks to promote, like get people there, and we try and hit in peak hours, of when people can come out. And we always try and give people like a week or two heads up to like when we're coming out. Like, if you were thinking about buying a new board, you should be there.
Yeah,
is my thing. So, and like, dude, I always give people as much time as they need on equipment and things like that. And dude, I'll give people my personal equipment to go ride. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, and then like, we stay, hang out. Like, we don't leave. Like, if we're hungry, like we'll order food to the park or something like that. But it's like, it's super important for me to stay there, but like also like go get some laps in, cut it up with the locals, and like be part of their scene. Like,
yeah, get involved with their community. And
everyone has their own crew, right? Like Ethan and Jake have their own little crew at Elevated, like Action. Like, we have our own old guy crew. There's a young kid crew now with the Gibbies, like Kid Rips, but like everyone has their, like, I try and just be a part of it, and,
yeah,
because that's where I want to be. Like, I want to experience it. Like, everyone like travels to Europe to see their culture. That's like me, but for wakeboarding. Like, I want to be that guy on the dock experiencing the culture,
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I guess we can kind of sidestep things a little bit. If you could pick one park to ride at.
Oh, I knew you were going to do this to me.
It doesn't have to be your favorite park. So it doesn't have to be the best setup. If every day you had to ride one park.
That's an easy question. Like, stop. Okay. And I'm going to tell everybody why for me. And I'm a dad. I'm old. I am scared of homemade features a lot. I am. I'll just be 100% honest. So with that being said, Westrock hands down. I mean, you have to like Dan has built something super special, and like I think back to the days when he just had a couple 2.0s, and like we got Wes, Blake, Quinn, McKee was there. My homie Garrett, who's OG as fuck. He was pre jet ski days of East Coast Wake Park when it was a winch pond, bro. That's how. And this crew just descended on West Rock. But like today, it's a perfect. There's 5 lines. There's what, 4 features per line. Public math is 20 plus. I mean, he's got 21 plus features in a park that's really safe, but also like the transitions he has. Like I'll never be good enough to go hit the Valdosta 2.0 and hit the container.
Yeah.
But dude, that Space Mob feature Dan got at West Rock, I rode it one weekend with I think I was with the mob. No, I can't even remember. I think I was with the mob, and then Zoo Pack was coming the next week, and I was like, I rode it, and I had to go back the following week. Like I wasn't planning on going for the Zoo Pack trip, and then I was like, there's no fucking way I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Like I hit it for 2 straight days and had the biggest smile on my face. Like transitions are important in so many different other sports.
Yeah, in wakeboarding.
Dude, yeah. And so it's like Hydra's had this badass rail that I don't think it's in anymore. It used to be on the first stretch on the left. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure it's gone. And it had the sickest like pop, like big safety, little pipe on top, and then a nice wall ride. Like I never really hit mellow-ish wall rides. And so Dan has a ton of them. There is so much different flow and things you can do, like you can find trannies everywhere around that park. That's why, I mean, dude, it's you see how I talk about it.
Yeah, I had a feeling that'd be your answer, but
you got to ask the question.
Gotta ask the question.
Like, there's a lot of badass parks out there. People do like people are doing super cool things at these parks. Like hell, even like we were talking about Rickson a little bit, like they didn't have any features back in the day. They used to water ski around that thing. And now like Alan, and Britta, like, dude, they've got something super special down there. Like the rails are sick. Like they got a Stefan rail. Like, dude, I got worked on that one day, hitting the whole way. But
yeah, I mean, you can get fucked up on that rail.
but dude, like all these parks are like freaking shark. Like their cable's so damn tall, and like 2 Daniel Grants, like there's some badass cables that are popping up, and it's like, but like if you had to say day to day, like there's so much variety. It doesn't matter what you want to do that day. There's so many lines and there's so many different things. Like every time I go there, I might only work on 2 lines, you don't have the time to even get all 5 in.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't know if I'd agree. Sorry, Dan, but it's way up there. I mean, between Elevated, West Rock, Valdosta, like,
well,
and parks that I haven't ridden and you haven't ridden, like.
Well, just remember, I'm a dad, dude. The unit stuff, but like, dude, Valdosta, like, if it didn't have to be unit, 100%, you're talking a Valdosta, you're talking an Elevated. But I mean, like, if you talk about park, like, yeah, CWC and Valdosta, because you get the 2 O's, you get the Plaza, you get like, I mean, dude, the 2.0 at Valdosta is the biggest legend. In my life, I probably will never hit it. I'm that afraid of dying on that setup. But it's like, I watched Terry Bailey going pond 1 to pond 2, yard sail 1 on the giant handrail up, handrail across. He was the only person doing it. But I'm just like, this shit is so gnarly. Like so for like a rider like you though, like what's yours? Like what's yeah, I know. You put me on the spot, dog.
I mean, I think it would probably be Valdosta. I mean,
CWC's not
CWC would be up there for sure. Thai Wake Park would be up there too.
I mean, dude, they got pools, they got amenities. Like I love
hard.
amenities.
I think the bi-level or the elevation change in a full size is something that needs to be like
mandatory.
It's pretty surprising to me that like Lithuania has 3 full-size cables and not one of them has any elevation change whatsoever.
Ugh.
I mean, they all look awesome, and I would love to ride any of them. It's interesting to me that you wouldn't involve that at least in the advanced cable.
And you're thinking about full size. I'm thinking even smaller. Like, think 2.0. If you build a 2.0 right now and you don't have an elevated pond, what are you doing? Like, if
it's not specifically for beginners, then
right, yeah. Well, and if it's like, hey, I'm just throwing it up, like, it's a personal cable, different, but like, dude, if you have if you're doing a 2.0, you should probably have a bi-level, like, or a tri-level. Like Ethan's Daniel Debo, if you've ever been to North Carolina, you probably know Ethan's dad, Debo, and he was gonna do like a 3 or 4 pond drop, like 1, 2, 3 down and then 1 back up. Like, dude, could you imagine?
Well, imagine that in a full size that is big enough that it can have multiple. All right,
It'd
I
be
don't want to go
amazing.
too down this rabbit, too far down this rabbit hole of dreams. Before we wrap this up, I did want to touch on. You like to party. You have a good time. Everybody, anyone who's met you knows that.
Couple beers.
It's not a bad thing. How has your life changed from being single, bachelor, to, girlfriend, wife, and now 1 kid's working our way into 2?
Dude, never would have thought I'd be here. I honestly, like, I never thought I was going to be a kids guy, but like, even so single, like, dude, I feel like I've always pretty much had a steady girlfriend, things like that. I think it was really in like college when like me and my like high school sweetheart kind of broke up. It was just like, until I find the one, I'm probably not dating. So I took like a 3-year sabbatical from like dating. Like, you
were celibate.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. I went to ECU. I was totally celibate.
By choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay. So I didn't have any like serious long-term girlfriends or anything like that, But so like midway through college, like I met my wife junior, senior year, I think. And we dated far, but it was one of those things, like, I knew I wasn't just gonna settle for anybody, It was like I was single. I could go do what I want, when I want, because I want. And even we were long distance. So, like, I could still, like, even when, like, my wife and I were dating in the beginning, like, it was still junior, senior year of college. So, like, I could still just drive down to Florida. Like, I was living in North Carolina, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
She lived in Atlanta, like, it was super complicated to explain that to someone that, like, you're 21 years old and you have a long distance relationship in college. But it worked, for us. And then, like, being married, like, dude, she totally supports me, because I'm not going to lie. Anybody who's ever met me, like, yeah, I drink, I party, like, we hang out. Like, I'd like to think I'm a fun, nice guy, but I can tend to be an asshole, like, here and there. And I hate to say it, but like, I kind of put it more at her. But when I get my time in on a board, I'm not an asshole. Like living in Michigan's hard because you're not on I don't snowboard as much. I need to change that, but I'm not on a board as much as I'd like to living this far north. And it definitely hurts my attitude. Like, cause when I get my board time in, I feel like I'm the happiest go lucky. Oh, for sure. Dude, it's the cheapest therapist you could ever have. What's a cable pass? 6, 7, call it $1,200 if you live in Florida or whatever, cause you have longer season. But it's like, dude, absolutely. Give me 30 minutes on a board. I'm a totally different person. Like,
totally agree.
Yeah,
it's huge. So now you got the second kid coming. How has that changed how you approach your everyday life? I mean, we can just talk about after your first your daughter.
Dude, yeah. So like, year 1 was so hard. Like, being at home, cause like, I knew the cable was there, and I know she's just a little infant. She like could sit in a car seat the whole time I could go shred. But it's like, every time I take her to the park, without a tent, she would she would get diaper rash. And then so like I would take my Slingshot tent and I can't put it up because I don't sponsor the park here, and it sucked, but it was so cool because Action like gave me a tent topper and let me use that for her. And so
Really?
like, dude, yeah, oh,
That's pretty
dude,
sick.
dude,
You could have
Action.
just bought another tent too.
Well, no, I mean, no,
It's just
I
a
mean,
tent.
fuck, dude, tents are like the one we had was like $700, you know, it's just it got more difficult to go ride because like I couldn't do that for the first year. But year 2 was totally better because she'd have so much fun just being out there. Like, dude, all the girls from the cable, like some of them would babysit her, and like I'd be like, dude, I'll give you $20. Will you just watch Savvy for the next hour? I'm gonna ride, and they'd be like, hell yeah, like, dude.
Yeah.
So like I learned to adapt, and like kids want to be involved with what you're involved in. Like you know, walking in the house, just Dad, I wish you do it. Like, you know, can I come? And I'm like, oh, I hate to say, but you know, they just evolve around you. Like I wasn't sure how wakeboarding would be with a family, but like we all love to go to the park and hang out, and you know, if there was a playground and something like that for the kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say what
huge. Huge.
We can wrap this up in your couple minutes, but when it comes to families being at the park, now that you are, you know, transitioning from just a rider and a rep and a dad, you're now becoming a dad. What value do you place on a park that would have, you know, a wake park would have a playground or an aqua park or a beach? Like, do you think that would drastically change the dynamic of these wake parks?
Absolutely. You know, like when I look at a park, I only look at the features. I look at the cable and I look at the features. I don't give a shit what your pro shop looks like. Like, I don't care if you're in the hood. Like, you know, whatever. Like, oh, I heard a gunshot while I was riding. I didn't get hit. Whatever. but like, if I want to spend time at this place, how do I do that? I bring my wife. I bring my kids. And I even say children. But like, I bring my children, right? They got to have something to do.
Yeah.
Like, you know, having chairs for them, you know, it's very polite, you know. Cincy, they've got a badass overhang. So like you could go, and they've got great loungers, you know, so you could be over there and mom could get the suntan, you know, Gunther Oka's mom, you'd be out there getting a suntan or something, you know, or because he cares about riding. It doesn't necessarily care about everything else, but having a public park right there, like West Rock has, like Shark West Palm has, like, you know, all these things, they do matter. Hell, like Shark and Quarry, they've got to figure it out. Like, they sell beer. Parents,
volleyball nets, a nice beach, you know.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the Quarry. Oh, my wife loves going there. Absolutely. Like every time I go to Chicago, I'll do Quarry, West Rock. You know, I mix them all in, and the wife's like, "Oh, can I come?" Like she wants to hang out. Like they have a badass restaurant, like, which is what like a lot of like the European cables have. Like they have great community involved around their cables, and like have restaurants, sell beer, you know, things.
It's not just one thing; it's a fully involved, you know, business and situation, which I think is really important. I know a lot of core riders would maybe scoff at the idea of having an aqua park and a nice beach and a bar and a restaurant. Maybe not. I don't know. But I think the importance is to get everyone there so that the core guy like you who wants to take laps will bring his friends, family, anyone who can have a good time drinking beer, eating dinner, getting a tan, and go, hey, this is something I kind of want to do. It looks fun. So I think, you know, to your point, I think it's really valuable to have those things.
You said the magic words, aqua park. Dude, you know how easy it is to transition a child wearing a life vest and a pair of shorts from an inflatable raft to the cable? I mean, it's right there. You're already wet. You want to give it a shot, little Johnny? Let's go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's just, it really does matter, you know, and it's like, if you can do it, I suggest it, you know. It's definitely one of those things that, like IKEA, right? They figured out how to keep people in their store. Put a restaurant in there. Make the food inexpensive. Feed them halfway through. Like, it just makes sense.
Keep them coming back.
Absolutely.
All right. I think I don't want to take any more of your time here. I think we've done it.
Golly.
I think we did a pretty good job at it. Is there anything you want to say? Anyone like to thank? Anything on your mind you want to get off?
Man, all of it. Like, I know we said certain names here and there, but like, I feel like everybody knows who my tribe is, and like all the people, like all of the dealers I work with, like the riders, like everybody, like the culture, like I wake up and I'm super happy every day. Like the first couple weeks of my job, it was just like everyone was super excited to talk to me and meet me and like things like I was like, this is a job. Like I'm actually getting a paycheck from this, So like, I mean, super big shout out to like all the guys at Slingshot that gave me a shot, like McKee, like it's cool, but also to like even our pro team, like the Quinn and Wes and Dylan, like the people that accepted me, like, I came in I'm a sales guy, like essentially, like I'm just a business degree kind of guy. And like for these like core riders to accept me and, like treat me like family, like it's cool, man. Like everyone in my tribe knows who they are. And I wouldn't be here without all of them. So like, I really hate to say it, but like, I want to thank everyone because like, even, the guys like you, like that are out here who care about our sport, like that's who I want to thank because like, this is what we love to do. And the better we work at it,
the better it becomes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well,
hey, and we didn't do anything really stupid, I don't think, other than the power cutting out. Damn microwave.
that was funny though. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come on. I got you a little swag bag there,
Goodies.
T-shirt, some stickers, some koozies.
Hey man, is this extra medium?
That's a double XL.
Crab Matters Podcast.
Did you check the back of it?
You heard it first. Whoa. I like that. If you can read this, I'm drinking.
It's upside down.
I like it. Yeah. I'll let everybody know.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I don't know how to do an outro to a podcast, but thanks to Adam for coming on, and thanks everyone for listening.